And everywhere, a very good morning to you. And I suppose it would be very interesting to see, if people are okay, it is still level 3. Do they expect otherwise? And how are they coping?
Well, they were certainly expecting a bit of alleviation, Yuveka, just a bit of reprieve in terms of doing business. Earlier on, I was at Laurentina Restaurant in Sandton, where they're saying that while the president say we might be together, it's not being together for the restaurant sector. I was just come back from a church as well, where they were hoping that churches would be open. But right now, I am at Imbizo Shisanyama in Tembisa, speaking to a formidable entrepreneur, Mazwane, with the extension of Busy Corner. Thank you for joining us, Mama. But what were you hoping to hear from the Shisanyama side from the president last night?
Okay, first and foremost, we were looking forward to hear the president talking about the vaccine because lives need to be saved. Having said that, then we come back to Shisanyama side, the restaurant side. Livelihoods as well needs to be saved. So we're looking at a situation now whereby jobs have been lost and we are not able to trade. And we thought at least the president will still go back to say, like the last time when we were on level 2, from Monday to Thursday, liquor stores can still trade, restaurants can still also trade over the weekend and have on-site consumption. Obviously, with strict regulation, COVID-19 regulation and adherence, taking into consideration that restaurant, by the nature of them, because it's food industry, they are regulated by liquor board and health department as well. So we were hoping that he was going to let us trade.
I just want to understand then, from the business side of things as a whole, you have another famous Shisanyama Busy Corner, and from the beginning of the lockdown, 26th of March, yes. How has business been faring? Well,
to be honest, we only managed to trade in 2020, only 2 months, which was January and February. And those 2 months are quiet months. So the business has been terrible, in short. We've been hanging by a thread. But we were hoping that come beginning of the year, situation will be better. We would have, by now, we are all in the same storm, but we'd be able to ride the storm and continue, saving jobs. But we find ourselves in these situations, more so for businesses that are in townships. And we talk about small to medium businesses here that have got little chance of getting resuscitated again when they don't make it.
We can't shy away, though, from the dangers of COVID-19. President mentioning the 3 C's, crowded spaces being one of them, and, of course, Busy Corner, normally an influx of people coming there, super spreader, potential danger of spreading COVID-19. Surely there are a goodness in closing the restaurants itself. Don't you see that?
Well, I would say yes, in a sense, but closing it completely, I don't think it was a good move. Like I say, with the restrictions that needed to be put in place and where we were already adhering, I mean, the story of hospitality industry, food and beverage has been documented many times, and responsible, outlets have been doing their best to make sure that they adhere to those regulations. So it's a case of being able to balance the two in these situations. And where we find ourselves in a situation whereby the entire value chain is being affected. Because we're not looking at the end user, which is the consumer. You're looking at the value chain from Shisanyama side. We're talking about livestock farming. If one comes to a restaurant, obviously you get to a restaurant so that you can have a glass of wine and a glass of beer. So if you can't have that, that means you'll just pass by, maybe buy food, from your takeaway shops. And the nature of restaurants is more, socializing. So the glass of beer and the glass of wine is part of socializing. You cannot dissociate the two, because if you do that, it's like you tell me that there is the car, it can be on the road, but I've closed all fuel stations. Basically, you're not going to move, and that's where we find ourselves.
And just lastly and quickly, what would you like to hear from government, and has there been any consultation with businesses like yourself from the government side?
What I would like to see and to hear from government is to just take consideration mostly businesses that are small to medium, because those businesses are the ones that create job opportunities even more. And those businesses are the ones that addresses the issue of poverty. Remember, I'm in the township, and in the township, that's where poverty faces you. You see poverty right in front of your face. And the businesses that are small, you keep food on the table. The struggle of liquor, if I were to talk about liquor now, the struggle of liquor has always been the struggle for women, because women are the ones that look after their children. So when the president speaks again, we obviously hope that they will take all that into consideration so that they keep these small businesses to medium businesses afloat.
But let me also just add that in terms of the liquor, we heard the president saying that Baragwanath Hospital for the first time had no casualties because of incidences that happened at the liquor. Isn't that a good thing as well in terms of saving lives?
True, in terms of saving lives, but let's look at the whole issue now. What exactly was supposed to happen? Obviously, you know, in the hospitals, there are casualties. Casualties are going to be there. But it's a case of making sure that what we had right from the beginning, which we were happy about, more hospitals were going to be built so that COVID-19 patients will be able to be attended separately from your day-to-day cases that happen, including, you know, the cases of people that abuse liquor. And when we talk about people that abuse liquor, even the large liquor industries, they do try to mitigate it. They do try to put budgets aside so that those people are helped. But the fact that the liquor was closed completely, what happens then when 2 months later, you know, the liquor ban is lifted? I'm hoping that plans will be in place so that when the surge goes up, we don't go back to a seesaw. I call it a seesaw, sort of like a merry-go-round. And it becomes difficult for a business person when you can't even project the next 7 days. And any business needs to project at least the minimum of 5 years to sustain itself. So we're in a situation where 24 hours, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Mazwane, thank you very much. From Imbizo Shisanyama, of course, also the owner of the famous Busy Corner in Tembisa, pleading with government just to consider the township economy, livelihoods in the township, Uveka, while there is, of course, the ongoing level 3 regulations with the closure of alcohol. She's pleading that a lot of women are the ones that are essentially selling the alcohol in the different taverns in the township, and that government should at least consider them.
That debate will rage on everywhere. Lives versus livelihoods. That's where we're at the moment. Thanks so much for that.